Rangers in a big important game, and it also gave them the experience of winning a big cup tie against a club in a higher league in Dundee in the last round, and it's given them a lot of confidence, and I just hope that they'll be able to, as a test for them, to go out and handle the whole Rangers situation.
Is that the fear for you as the manager, that come the moment the youngsters might freeze?
Yeah, well, I think it always is. I think you always fear for them, but I think most times when I've been in situations like this and played younger players in a big tie, they've always handled it, and I'm quite sure our boys will do that.
Is it also part of the learning experience for them?
I think it's a very important part of the learning experience. I feel we need to go into games like this and let them see a picture of what it's about in higher levels. I think you get 1,000 words. I mean, you can tell them about what it's like and what you're trying to aim them to, but if you see the picture and they take part in it, then it gives them a better idea what to aim for.
You won the Scottish Cup as a manager, Alec, with 2 different clubs. Without giving too much away, what will you be saying to the players just before they go out?
Well, I would be saying to them that I don't want to lose an early goal, that's for sure. That we've got to make sure that we're organised and we're tight in the early part of the game, and we don't make any basic errors that's going to put Rangers in the driving seat. As I say, they've got enough outstanding players to put us under pressure as it is, but we have got to make sure that we concentrate in the early part of the game, that we get bedded in and allow us to then ourselves to try and exploit any areas or gaps that Rangers may allow us to do.
And it's coming up live very shortly here on Sky Sports, 8 o'clock kickoff, Clyde against Rangers. We have Steve Archibald and Craig Brown, the Scottish team manager, with us tonight. Can't let the opportunity go without talking to Craig about Euro 96. Are you looking forward to it now?
Yeah, very much. There's a great deal of hype, Richard, up in Scotland, as you can imagine, and of course there's one game that's causing great interest, and
which is?
I keep saying to people, we've got 1 easy game and 2 difficult ones.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of speculation as well about the players that you'll be taking with you. One that we have on view tonight, I imagine, picks himself, Andy Gorham.
Yeah, obviously, Andy's outstanding, and as I said, as the team arrived, he's got a great deal to thank Alan Hodgkinson for. But Andy, on his day, in fact, he's very seldom, it's not his day, he's, I would say, the best in Europe. You can see the agility there. He's had numerous operations in his knee. He plays with a protective knee covering, but it doesn't hamper his agility. And of course, since I saw him at Oldham, and Joe Royal told us he was an expert in every sport. You know, he's a great cricketer, a great snooker player, anything with a ball. He's got hand-eye coordination second to none. So you see the number of saves he's making in this clip. It's quite
Don't wish to be too unkind and pin you down here, but you say he's arguably the best in Europe on his day. You've got Jim Leighton around as well, who's been your first choice of late.
He's equally the best in Europe. So we've got 2. I genuinely think we've got the 2 best goalkeepers in Europe. Now, I've seen most of them, and I don't envy any other country the goalkeeper. I can assure you, it's a real. We can toss up between Gorham and Leighton. And whichever one we play, we know we have an outstanding goalkeeper.
We've speculated here about Michael Watt at Aberdeen, somebody who's not been mentioned recently, Brian Gunn of Norwich. Are they both in with a shout?
Yeah, very much so. We've got 3 goalkeepers to include, and Brian Gunn is very much in my thoughts. Brian has never let us down. He's a smashing chap, he's an excellent goalkeeper, and he's a year or 2 younger than the other 2. So Brian is very much, I'll have a look at Brian and put him in contention. Michael Watt also, a bit younger, former under-21 keeper, doing very well. We've got Nicky Walker at Partick Thistle, so the third one will come from the 3 that I've mentioned. It'll be Gunn, Walker, or young Michael Watt.
On fire down here right now, John Spencer of Chelsea. Let's talk strikers for a moment or so. 5 in his last 6 league games, John Spencer.
Well,
there he is.
He told me he was playing well, so...
Did he?
It must be true. Excellent, John is, and he's a bit of the Charlie Nicholas in the dressing room, you know.
Yeah.
He's a great character to have around the squad. And unfortunately, we had him in Japan in our tour in the summer, and he was ordered off. I think he didn't quite realise that the referee understood English. In fact, spoke better English than John did. So his remarks weren't appreciated by the ref, so he got an early, and that meant he could only play part of the game against Japan.
But he's put himself back in the frame, eh?
Very much so. He was never out the frame as far as I was concerned.
Good.
A favourite of mine from the under-21 team, I can assure you. And I think playing that wee bit deeper is suiting him. He was telling me that he likes playing just deeper.
I don't think he did initially, but he and Glenn Hoddle eventually came to an agreement on that, and he's actually been in great form ever since. Duncan Ferguson, can you get him fit? Can you get his mind right? You'll obviously want him around, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think Everton lost to Port Vale, and
without him.
Without him, that's what I was going to say, that maybe had Duncan been playing, they might have been up for it a bit more, but certainly if he's playing the way he can play and fit and well, we can certainly use him in the summer in England.
It's actually looking very good, isn't it, in a number of departments for you all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
well, we're beginning to feel, you know, the striking department was our main problem. We defended very well in the qualifying games, and the midfield's excellent. We've got the McStays, McCalls, McAllister, Collins. We were thinking in terms of looking for strikers. A wee bit disappointed that Ali McCoist is running out of time, but I still don't lose hope for McCoist.
Well, I was just about to ask you about Ali McCoist, who does have a habit of, as Steve said, of coming into important games and just producing something a bit special. Running out of time, yes, but might you be tempted?
Yeah, I'm always tempted because he's got a proven scoring record at every level, particularly international level. I know you moan a bit here about Shearer not scoring at international level. We can't have that complaint about McCoist.
You're not worried about that either, are you?
No, I'm not worried. I would be honest and say that I worry about Shearer because I think he's outstanding, but I'm not worrying about his scoring record. Long may that continue when he plays against Scotland. But McCoist is never in that position. He doesn't go that number of games without scoring against any opposition. So,
and that's the record breaker. And what a way to bring up a record as well. This was Saturday, on as a substitute, as we said, and gets the winning penalty. Yeah,
you've shown us three of the strikers who look to be very much in my thoughts.
Is it too late for Archibald?
I think so. We've tried him. And,
that didn't work out.
He's always hard. It didn't work out. We tried him. He got a fair share of games. In fact, was grossly underrated, I may say, by the Scottish fans. You know, leading scorer in Scotland, leading scorer in England, leading scorer in Spain. And some of the fans still couldn't appreciate him. So that defies logic.
He was on fiver, Craig.
He was outstanding. You can give him the money back.
That's a rare sight as well. His hand's in his pocket. That's great.
You get to know me quite well, Richard.
Let's have a look at Scotland's fixtures. 3 at the moment. Might you be able to get something else in?
Well, we're happy with the 3. We may have another one in the USA, but that's not confirmed. The authorities over there are trying to fix us another game when we go. We're going to a training camp, which has been a favoured venue for us. You know, we went there before the Swedish European Championship, and the players liked it. It was comfortable over there. So
the game against Australia is not as silly as it looks either, is it? A lot of their players now are in and around Europe.
Yeah, Eddie Thompson said 10 of his first 11 play in Europe, and 1 or 2 in England, as you know. And in fact, I was doing a count. I think there are over 20 Australian players in England. Not all international players, but Australia will be an interesting fixture for us.
Let's just tidy it up. What's a good Euro 96 for Scotland?
To progress beyond the preliminary stage and to beat England.
More importantly than anything else.
Exactly.
In that order?
No, in the reverse order.
Live football tonight comes from Scotland. It's the Tennant Scottish Cup 4th round tie between Clyde and Rangers, who thumped 10 past Keith last time out. Clyde have got their eyes on an upset. When we come back, we'll be able to check up on the team news. We know Ali McCoist isn't around. David Problem will confirm the rest.
To build the ultimate NASCAR takes months. To be the ultimate driver takes years. But in a race of attrition, sometimes that's just not enough. 250 laps of fast and furious action live from Florida. The Daytona 500, Sunday at 4:30 on Sky Sports 2.
That's losing its head, a lager that doesn't.
Face it, no other razor shaves closer, or with more comfort than Gillette Sensor XL. Soft microfilms that protect your skin, and individually spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. No other razor feels more comfortable during your shave, or leaves your face smoother after Gillette Sensor XL. And try Gillette Series Shave Gel. There's no better shave gel. Gillette, the best a man can get.
A ruthless cop who crossed the line. An innocent girl who escaped the hit.
Find her.
A professional hitman who's about to change the odds. Leon, the video to put on your hit list.
Here we are live as the net closes in on the runaway. He's guilty, I'll eat my slacks.
No more Yorkies for you. Kiss your last chunk goodbye. Look out!
Where'd he go?
Spread out. And comb the area.
Discover the secret of Atlantis, new from Lynx. This is the Australian Institute of Sport. Everything here is dedicated to the development of world-class athletes, even their diet. So, together with Kellogg's, they created Sustain, the first cereal designed to help meet athletes' nutritional needs as part of their balanced diet. Delicious multigrain flakes, sultanas, apple and almonds. Sustain, designed for an athlete's body, good for everybody. New Kellogg's Sustain.
Welcome back. Live Scottish football tonight, the Tennant Scottish Cup fourth round tie between Clyde and Rangers. Favourites? 9-2 on Rangers, 12-1 Clyde, 7-2 the draw. Van Vossen of Rangers favourite to get the first goal. In fact, look at that page. Laudrup, Gascoigne, Ferguson, all quoted. Eddie Annand of Clyde, their top scorer with 15 this season at 12-1. This is the page where the gamblers maybe dip in. Charlie Nicholas, is it a night for Charlie? I wonder. 14-1, Charlie Nicholas to get the opener. And the head-to-head 16 cup meetings going all the way back to 1880. Rangers won that 11-0. There was a 49 final. Rangers won that 4-1. Most recently, the game that Craig Brown was talking about, 1980, finished 2-2 at Shawfield. Rangers won 2-0 at Ibrox in the return. 2 goals from John McDonald. Right, let's go back to Broadwood and get the team news confirmed now with Davy Provin. Davy, good evening to you.
Good evening, Richard. Welcome to Broadwood Stadium. Certainly the biggest match that this stadium has ever seen. A real sense of anticipation here. And, you know, Clyde really can't lose tonight because regardless of what happens out there on the pitch, they stand to make something like £100,000 from this match. And given that they operate a staff of some 25 full-time players, that money really is a godsend. Let's take a look at the sides first of all. We have the team sheets here and we can turn first of all to Alex Smith's side. John Hillcoat is the goalkeeper tonight and he expects to be a busy man. In front of him, a back four of Graham Ferguson, Jim Thompson, Graham Watson and Keith Knox. Kenny Gillis will play the central role in midfield with Martin O'Neill and Ian Angus either side of him. And further forward, the 3 men who did all the damage to Dundee in the last round. Charlie Nicholas and Tommy Harrison in the slightly withdrawn roles, with Eddie Annand up front, and he scored 7 goals in his last 7 games. As far as Rangers are concerned, well, they stretched their lead at the top of the Premier Division to 3 points with that 3-2 win over Motherwell on Saturday. But still no Richard Gough. He's still being treated for a back injury. And also out tonight, as we heard from Walter Smith, Ali McCoist with a recurrence of that calf strain. That really has been troublesome for him recently. So Walter Smith starts tonight with Andy Gorham, behind a 3 of Craig Moore, Gordon Petric and Alan McLaren. A midfield of Stuart McCall, Paul Gascoigne and Ian Ferguson, with David Robertson supporting on the left. And up front, Charlie Miller through the middle, with Brian Laudrup and Peter Van Vossen wide. Back to you, Richard.
Davey, thanks very much. Broadwood tonight is our venue. Tennant Scottish Cup fourth round tie. Clyde against Rangers. Here's a famous old boy from Clyde as well. Played a lot of his football south of the border more recently. Pat Nevin. He's with David Carton.
Clyde versus Rangers Scottish Cup. Can Clyde do it?
Well, they've got a chance. It's an outside chance, you know, but they've been playing pretty good this season from all the reports, and I still keep in close touch with a lot of the Clyde lads, you know, a lot of the supporters, and if they play well and give a good account of themselves, I'll be happy for them.
Who's the main man for Clyde tonight?
Well, there's quite a few. Obviously, Charlie. You want to think Charlie's going to do something special, and he'll be built up for it, and he'll be excited about it. And I'm dying to see him again.
Prediction?
Maybe Rangers will scrape through with a last-minute goal.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot.
Maybe. Steve Archibald and Craig Brown are our guests here tonight. You were just talking in the last break there, Steve, about the goalkeeper, John Hillcoat. What are your feelings about him from, A, the point of view of his ability, and secondly, has he got the temperament for a night like this?
I think he's got the ability. I think he's a young goalkeeper. This is his first real season as really a number one, and it'll take him a bit of time to settle in. But I like him. I think he's got potential. But tonight will be a big test for him. I'm sure it'll be a big test. He'll be nervous. If he gets a touch early on, if Clyde hold things nice and tight, not for 20 minutes, for half an hour, I'd say, not the first 20 minutes, for half an hour, then he can go on to have a game. But it'll be a test for him early on.
Is he not prone to getting beaten from free kicks?
Well,
you did bend one past him recently, I understand.
Well, I did, but it was only from about 25 yards.
Deflected.
And it took a deflection, did it?
And the wind caught it and whipped it. Yes, I had a lot of help on it.
But you think there's the ability there, do you?
Yeah, I think he's got natural ability, yes. But it'll be a big test, as you say, for his temperament and his control tonight.
So he needs a good start, Craig.
Yeah, I think so. He's not all that young. You know, he's been with St Mirren. Alex Smith signed up for St Mirren as a youngster, and then he was transferred to Dunfermline. He was 5 years at Dunfermline, although he'd never really established himself in the first team. So he'll be 22, 23, I would guess. And we've had him with youth international squads, so a good physique, good hands, and if his temperament is good tonight, I think we might get an outstanding display from young John.
Yeah, he's been here for a couple of years. He was number 2 to Les Fridge the past couple of years, and Les Fridge has now moved on, and he's staking his claim. So tonight's a massive game for him, really.
Rangers firm favourites to win this one tonight, but the rest of the cup odds make interesting reading. 11 to 10 on Rangers, 7 to 4 Celtic, 8 to 1 Aberdeen. Is there an outsider there you might fancy, Steve?
In the cup, yeah, there's always an outsider. I don't know, maybe Aberdeen.
Well, I'm going to go beyond that. I live in Ayrshire, and I'm going to think Kilmarnock might be an outsider. I'm going to their match against Hearts on Saturday, and I've been asked to do the cup draw afterwards. So you just let me know who you want. The teams involved. But there's the Scottish Cup odds. Clyde are a good pound on there at 250 to 1.
What's their best chance tonight, do you think?
7 to 2 for the draw.
You fancy the draw?
Well, I think they would be pushed to get a draw, but it's not out with the bounds of possibility. You know, way back in 1980, you referred to, I mean, we were struggling a wee bit in the league, and we were in the old second division at the time. Rangers were in the first division, John Gregg the manager, and we led 2-1 in the game and looked like causing an upset, but Rangers...
It wasn't to be.
It wasn't to be. Equaliser. So
let's take you back to well, they tell me it's 1977, 1877 it could be, I think. Manager of Clyde then, Craig Brown.
Archibald's in that, I would think.
I think Archibald's somewhere around there. Back row, second from the left.
There he is.
Hey, I think Pat Nevin was somewhere in that squad as well, wasn't he, at the time?
A year later.
No, just later. He came in later.
And as you said, you sold him on for an exorbitant fee of something approaching £20,000 to Aberdeen. The manager of Aberdeen at the time was Big Billy McNeil, who's waiting to talk to us tonight. Now, what's this they're telling me, Billy, about you thinking he was either a midfield player or a sweeper? Is that a true story?
Not at all. The problem we had with him, he wasn't a good traveller, Stevie, in those days, and of course Aberdeen was the last club he should have joined, but nevertheless it worked out all right in the end, didn't it?
It didn't half. You sold him on with something of a profit when eventually he went, or Aberdeen did. Alex Ferguson did, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. And you know something, Richard, he never ever came up with a commission, that man, you know. But see what you can do for me tonight, will you?
And what are we looking at tonight, do you think, then, Billy? Clyde against Rangers. Craig here saying that it would be nice. Got half a fancy for a draw. Can you go that far?
No, I'm afraid I can't. I think realistically it should be a fairly easy tie for Rangers. But, you know, in the Cup, you say that only happens 1 in 100 times that a big team gets upset. Maybe this is that night, but realistically, I think that Rangers will win comfortably.
And the conditions, Billy? Is it right?
The conditions are excellent, yes. They're excellent, and I think that's to Clyde's disadvantage in some ways and to Rangers' advantage. It's a good pitch, it looks in good nick, and I think it will suit the big club.
Live tonight from Sky Sports, the home of football, we have Scottish Tenants Cup, 4th round action. Clyde against Rangers. Clyde, as we've said, struggling in the second against Rangers, top of the Premier. All the action comes up live when we come back.
Clean as a whistle, sir. Let me be the judge of that, Buff. It's not every day that MI7 lands a fish as big as this. Suffice to say, I should be welcoming him to the West. Sort that out, please.
I'll use Barclaycard.
I said fix the lavatory, Boff, not book tickets for the opera.
No, sir. Barclaycard Assist. They'll send an approved plumber round.
Oh, yes. A week next Tuesday. I don't know the things I have to do for my country.
Mr. Ross. He's here, sir.
Scarcely worth your coming, really. There's just a bit of finishing off to do.
But, sir...
Go on, get on with it. Barclaycard. Didn't look much like a plumber to me. Mr. Boff?
Oh, sorry. I'm just busy. That's communication from me.
Training is such a bore.
Pepsi Max, full cola taste, no sugar. Whoa, Andre's really on fire. Whoa. Gotta hand it to those new coaches.
Bravo! Brilliant! Smash it! Good shot!
Out.
Beano's. All you need to know. Indigestion can strike at any time. But help is at hand with fast-acting Tums. So whatever the occasion, Tums tune up Tums.
Summerfield promised the very best value with Price Check, like £3.28 for a pack of 4 fresh chicken breast fillets. Summerfield Bramley apple pie at half price. And save £1 a pound on English mature white cheddar cheese. If you like it strong and tasty.
Interesting. Price Check at Summerfield. Savings that add up.
The silent men of sport. What are they thinking?
The players really enjoy playing in the Sky Tournament.
I put my heart and soul really into my matches. When he starts potting, it's frightening. It's become one of the major forces in the game, it seems.
You've got to enjoy the pressure, it's part of it. Well, I think the coverage that Sky giving out is fantastic. They're giving out a bit of razzmatazz.
With world ranking points to be pocketed, they'll all be there, concentrating. The International Open starts Sunday at midday, live and exclusive on Sky Sports 2.
Welcome back, Broadwood. Tonight, Clyde against Rangers live here on Sky Sports. It's the Scottish Cup 4th round tie. And we're in the company of Craig Brown, the Scottish team manager, and Steve Archibald. Final thoughts then, Steve. Are you as brave as Craig here? Can you see anything other than a Rangers win?
No, at the end of the game, no, I don't think we'll see a Clyde victory. I think the very most that Clyde could hope for, as Craig said, is a draw, but even that's pushing it. I think the size of the park, which is the biggest park in Scotland, bigger than Hampden, bigger than Ibrox, will be to Rangers' favour, should be to Rangers' favour, and I think they'll make a lot of use of it.
And Billy McNeil made a fair point there about the surface as well, Craig. That too should suit Rangers, but you fancy the draw?
Well, my heart's rolling in my head here.
We can handle that.
I know. I don't think it'll be a draw, but I hope it'll be a draw for Clyde's sake. And I just think they might manage to sneak it, but Steve's made a very valid point. Good big pitch. Definite advantage to Rangers, and their experience obviously should see them through.
It's a big night in Cumbernauld. It's Clyde against Rangers. Let's join Billy McNeil and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, you join us as the teams emerge from the tunnel below us. To a terrific response from the capacity 6,300 crowd. These Rangers fans looking a little bit concerned. They will be conscious of banana skins like this. It's happened to Rangers before. Against Berwick in 67, Hamilton Accies 87. So the Clyde team, confirmation there, a combination of experience and youth.
Charlie Nicholas, of course, Ian Angus, Graham Watson and Keith Knox provide the experience, and there's young Jim Thompson, a very promising centre-half, Tommy Harrison, Martin O'Neill and Eddie Anand, the youthful members on the side, with some prospects of a future in the game.
It'll be interesting to see if during the game that Charlie Nicholas can steal off his marker and pick up the ball, because Charlie will enjoy this occasion. He loves the big occasion. He'll be there to settle the young players, but if he can pick up a bit of room, he might well cause Rangers a little bit of difficulty. But I just wonder if they've got the capability in midfield and at the back to prevent Rangers from doing well. But very promising young centre-half, young Thompson, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares tonight.
So Rangers, on the other hand, turning out a team of 10 internationals. Only Charlie Miller yet to play for his country, but there's no Gordon Jury, who scored 17 goals this season, no McCoist, 15 goals, and no Richard Gough. But it's a third start for Peter Van Bossen, who's likely to play wide on the right.
Well, it's interesting because I think that's Rangers' difficulty in it. There's no recognised goal scorer as such. Perhaps Laudrup can be asked to do that role tonight, and I think we'll see Charlie Miller playing as the front striker, and he'll be joined at times by Van Bossen and Laudrup. But the important player, obviously, is Paul Gascoigne. He's been in magnificent form recently. If he gets a bit of room, he can destroy any team. And to think that Clyde players won't have faced, or very often won't have faced, a player of his capability.
Paul Gascoigne, in fact, the highest scoring Rangers player on the field tonight with 10 goals. Kenny Clark from Paisley is the match referee, who had the misfortune to be involved in the incident whereby Duncan Ferguson finished up imprisoned for an incident in which he was not ordered off, the game against Wraith Rovers 2 years ago. So referee Clark is satisfied that the formalities have been completed properly, and it will be Clyde to start the match, and these opening exchanges will be absolutely crucial for these young players in the Clyde side. Well, Nicholas involved straight away. Ian Angus gets a touch also, both cup winners in the past, and Gascoigne's involved straight away. Here's Goran Petric. David Robertson taking up his familiar position wide on the left-hand side. And pushing forward more and more this season with a three-man central defence for Rangers. And the first touch for Andy Gorham. So Petric and Spearman at the back in the Richard Gough role. Craig Moore is taking up his position on the right-hand side as a marker, although the Clyde formation makes it a little more difficult. McLaren's header, turned back by Laudrup. Now Gascoigne. Well, the playing surface looks to be excellent. The conditions overhead could scarcely be better. Miller putting pressure on young Jim Thompson, the Clyde centre-half. So Miller has been played in midfield most of the season, but he's been played up front as a sort of emergency striker in recent matches with McCoist and Jury out of the side. So the third stand at Broadwood, in the process of construction there behind Andy Gorham. Headed on by Ferguson. Former Clyde player, of course, Ian Ferguson. This is Gascoigne. Got up well by Thompson. So Thompson, the centre-half, with a very important task to hold this defence together. Back with McLaren. Gascoigne's little flick. Miller was quickly on the ball. On the way there by Graham Ferguson. Keith Knox, rather, who made the clearance. Experienced player. Number 2 playing left back. There he is. Nicholas with a pass. Kenny Gillis intercepts that ball from Robertson. And Graham Ferguson now looks for the long ball forward. No height on that, though. Hustling tactics being imposed there in Paul Gascoigne, and now Clyde with a chance to come forward. Angus has Annan breaking to the left. This is McCall for Rangers. Rangers playing very patiently and slowly from midfield in the early stages of the match, looking to turn on the pace in the closing third. It's a good tackle by O'Neill. And the reply from Charlie Miller, the two number 7s together. Back again with Alan McLaren. Laudrup has switched to the Rangers right. That won't reach him though. There's Knox. And a late challenge by Knox on McCall. A little bit high with that effort. Free kick's been taken quickly, and Laudrup has possession. Well, no question there would be a great deal of thought put into this match tactically by the Clyde manager, Alex Smith. They'll thought things out very carefully. Interesting to see Ian Angus there showing Brian Laudrup inside, immediately had possession. No question of him being allowed to do damage on the flank if possible. That's Thompson. Now Nicholas. Gets the treatment from the Rangers supporters, of course, for his Celtic connections. Angus and Nicholas combine again in midfield. Ferguson comes forward. Angus made a good run through the middle. That's cut off well, though, by Petric for Rangers. Van Bossen's touch was a shade clumsy, but Robertson did well. An obvious one, that, from O'Neill. Well read by Ian Ferguson. Barrett's header. Well, the opening nervous stages of the match. Negotiated comfortably so far by Clydeville.
Impressively so. For me, Rangers seem to be trying to play right through the heart of that defence, and it's a very congested area because both Van Bossen and Laudrup were pushed themselves into the middle towards Charlie Miller. It surprised me just a little bit. I would have thought that they would try to stretch them, put them wide, make the pitch big for Clyde and start to get passes going, but they seem to be intent on playing through the middle.
Nicholas with a free kick. Jim Thompson, centre half, is in the area. So too is Ian Angus. That was good defending by Moore. And Thompson guilty of a push, claiming the shoulder charge, but out of reach really for the ball. Free kick taken quickly by Rangers. Across the back three it goes. Moore to Petric and McLaren. Good challenge again by Ferguson on Miller. Here's Nicholas again, seeing a lot of the ball early on. Picking out the run made by Gillis. Here's Martin O'Neill. Showing a lot of confidence there as he stepped away from Ian Ferguson. 20-year-old Martin O'Neill, already featured in the under-21 international squad. Works unkindly there for Clyde, but they have the throw. And left here to Graham Ferguson. A very interesting formation Clyde are playing. 4 at the back, just 3 in the middle, and 1 up front with 2 off. That's Nicholas and Tommy Harrison. Good pass from McLaren. That's Laudrup. Robertson well forward, showing too much of that to Graham Ferguson. Disappointment there for Robertson. Space in midfield for Gascoigne. Good running also by McCall on the flank.